In the UK, I think it's quite a different market to Germany. I mean, I'm a big believer in the European idea, but I think each market is quite different. So I think being a specialist and expert in one market first is important, and then I think you can also expand to other markets. Yeah.
Okay.
I think currently all continental European markets are extremely immature. So if I take Germany, for example, I think there were displayed 280,000 beds. If you look into 5 sources, you get 5 different figures on that. Yeah? And in Spain, in Italy, it's even worse than in Germany. And I think if you make your case going in other jurisdictions, other countries, you need to be convinced that you're going on the right path. I think you have had your reason choosing Italy, going there instead of going to, I don't know, Portugal or Spain. Yeah. And so I think there is in all countries a big variety of opportunities due to the massive undersupply. Yeah. And that makes it extremely interesting across Europe.
I think that the key thing for an investor is about what that net operating income is, and it's the transparency between the operating costs that it costs to run the building. That's where I think probably up until even about 2010 in the UK, we didn't actually have proper visibility or proper understanding of how these assets were run. And it was really only then when the institutions... Sorry, could you tell the guy in the planning partnerships to pipe down a bit, please? It was only when the institutional money started to come in 2011, 2012, did we actually start to get the likes of Collegiate, CRM, third-party management companies having to be explicit about about their operating budgets, about getting from that gross to the net income to the true net income, so the investors can actually then look at their sort of running returns and what that is actually going to mean to their investors.
Good. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think we also have seen it with the Class of 2020 partnerships, that every year there are more countries that become acceptable, so to say, for international investors. There's some gentleman here from that had a wonderful project in Budapest. For some investors that might be going into that market maybe too early, but you see that similar trends that we saw in other countries are now accelerating there. I think on one of your slides you showed the market size of Poland. I mean, obviously, if size of the market is important to you, that's a massive opportunity. Maybe not this year, but then, you know, it's going to be your next frontier. And there's a premium for the early birds. There's more risk, but I mean, it's an entrepreneurial sector, so it's very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's where do you want to be on the risk curve? Is it the private equity we're seeing in places like Portugal, Spain, probably Italy, Poland, Hungary. The core institutional pension fund money is France, Germany, Netherlands, and it's obviously reflected in the yield profiles that we're seeing.